The big debate: which one should you focus on, marketing or sales? Now, in this video, I'm going to break down exactly which one is more important, and I'm also going to give you action steps on which one you should prioritize based on where you're at with the business. Now, to put it in simple words, the answer is both. Both marketing and sales is super crucial when it comes to obviously scaling your business and getting to the next milestone. But what you need to focus on is priorities. Okay, obviously, if you don't have any calls on the calendar, if you have zero calls, then you should focus on marketing. Like if there's nothing to sell, then you shouldn't focus on sales. So if you don't have any calls, then focus on marketing. Do the cold calls, do the cold DMs, run the ads. I don't know, go in person to the gym and just booking a call with them. Focus on marketing. You shouldn't focus on sales until you have around like 1 to 3 qualified calls every single day on the calendar. Once you have those calls on the calendar, then you should focus on sales. Okay. If you have those 1 to 3 calls a day on the calendar, but you don't close at least 30% of them, then just stop focusing on marketing. Okay. What you have right now is enough. What you need to do is focus on sales. Either learn sales or either outsource it. Hire a closer, hire a sales consultant, hire someone that can take care of the calls, because if you can't close at 30% in 2025, then you need to dial in sales. Okay. Now, what I want you to understand is in 2025, 2026, selling is going to be super hard. Why? Because every single day there's hundreds of new business owners, new agency owners, new coaches, new consultants, new people trying to sell their services to prospects. Now, these prospects, they hop on calls and they're aware. They know that you're going to sell them something, especially if you use a word by word script. I don't want you to use a word by word script, okay? Because the sales resistance is so high because of all these new businesses that it's going to be impossible for you to sell. The script that you got from your best friend who got into the sales, who got into the industry a month ago, it's not going to work because these prospects, they've seen those super basic scripts 1,000 times, and there's no trust. You're not going to be able to sell them. Obviously, if 10 to 15% is enough for you in terms of a close rate, closing 10 to 15% of your prospects, then sure, use the script. But it's not going to be enough, unfortunately, to scale your business, because what you need is you need to be authentic and you need to be genuine on your sales calls. And you can't just follow a word by word script because it's not personalized, it's not customized, it's not authentic. Now, on the other hand, what you should do is have a conversational selling framework, which is, it's not a script, it's a framework. Obviously, it's a script, but you need to understand it as a framework and customize it, personalize it on every single one of your sales calls. Because for every single prospect, there's going to be a different pain point, a different goal, a different desire, a different fear. Everything is going to be different depending on every single prospect that you have. Same thing goes for pitching. You can't just have a slide deck, like a pitch deck, and just show the same thing to every single one of your prospects, because it's not going to hit as much. You need to customize every single pitch. That's why I don't do slideshows. I just speak, because then I can use all the fuel, all the information, all the resources that they give me in the pitch. Because then if I use all their goals, all their problems, all their desires, then it's going to sound exactly like this offer was made for them and what they're looking for. Okay, it's crucial. It's going to be a pain in the ass to sell in 2025, 2026 if you don't have a good, genuine, authentic sales process. So that's the first thing that I would focus on. Because if you don't focus on that and you only focus on marketing, then what you're going to do over time is you're going to burn your money, your time, and effort. Okay, that's why priorities and making sure that you have your priorities set straight, it's going to be crucial. Okay, so if you have 1 to 3 calls a day, consistently every single day, and you don't close at least 25-30%, then you need to focus on sales, dial that process in, or outsource it. That's fine as well. Just hire someone, pay for a sales coach, hire one of their closers, and get them to train the closers for your offer. That's perfectly fine as well. It's going to cost you some money. It's going to be a big investment, but it's going to be worth it in the long term, because if you close 10% more, then you make a lot more money. And I'm going to break it down as well for you. Let's say you have 3 calls a day, just to have a really simple example. Every single day, if you have 3 calls, that's 90 calls per month. Now, if you have a 60% show up rate on those calls, then that's 54 live calls per month. That means that you've already burned 36 calls because you don't have a good sales process, a good nurturing process, pre-call process. You don't have good sales assets. You don't have a VOL, and that means that you've already burned 36 live sales calls. Now, if you're paying for ads and you're paying for these sales calls, then let's say one call is worth $100 for you, then you wasted $3,600 on basically nothing because you didn't fix your sales process. Now, that's on a 20% close rate, you close 10 deals. On a 4K offer, that's 40K in revenue. Now, that might seem like a good trade-off, because you paid 9K for 90 calls and you got 40K back, but it could be better. Like, imagine if you increase your show up rate and your close rate by 10%, only 10%. I'm not even saying to double it, close at 50%. No, fuck that. I'm saying increase it by 10% on the same amount of calls, 90 calls per month. With a 70% show up rate, that's 63 live calls per month, which is 9 more. You save $900 basically just by having a better sales process on the back end. Now, instead of closing at 20%, what if you close at 30%? You've closed 18 deals instead of 10. That's an extra 8 calls. 8 closes in a month on a 4K offer that's $72,000 in contracted revenue. That's an extra 32K in revenue. And you haven't done anything. No new leads, no new marketing, no more ad spend, no more content, nothing like that, no more cold calling. What you've done is added some backend systems, some backend structure, some sales assets. You fix your reminders and you get better at sales, or you hired a closer. And what happened is in the next month, you've nearly doubled your entire business and you haven't done anything to the business. What you've done is simply fix your sales, because sales is crucial. Okay, especially now. Like I said, in this game, in 2025, 2026, a lot of people are getting into the space. A lot of people are selling, and the trust is gonna be zero. Zero trust. If you think that by having ads just shown to a person, they book in a call and they just randomly buy a service from you, if you think that's the case, that's not the case. You need to warm them up. You need to nurture them. You need to show them that even before they hop on a call with you, that you know your stuff, that you know what you're doing. You need to give them value. They have any concerns, they have any objections, just give them everything for free before the call. Because what happens is if you give everything away for free, let's say it's a sales coaching offer, and obviously your prospects, they can't find offers and they can't handle objections. So if you send them 2 sales assets where you cover both of those things and you explain to them how to handle objections and you explain to them how to find offers, then they trust you because they're going to be like, oh shit, this guy knows what he's doing. So I'm going to hop on a call with him and see how he can accelerate this process for me. Because trust me, no one wants to do the work. Everybody is lazy. If I give you a course, a 100-hour course on how you can make $1 million a month next month, you're not going to read it. You're not going to go through it. What you're going to do is you're going to pay me 20 grand to do it for you and to help you do it. Because you're going to have a lot of questions, a lot of little errors, a lot of problems, a lot of inefficiencies, and you're not going to be able to solve them if there's no one on your side. All you have is a course, but a course is not going to answer all of your questions. So that's why providing value and having trust, okay, you need to use your personality. That's why the new marketing, every single time what I see, the new marketing is people showing their personalities, how they are, not just providing value is getting boring. Everybody's providing value. What you need to do is provide value and show who you are. Show your true self. Show what you do on a day-to-day basis. Show what you do in the back end. That's why I'm making funny videos on IG, because that's me. I'm a goofy guy. I like to make funny videos, and that's me. That's my personality, and people like my videos for it. Not just because of my value. Value is one thing, but people need to trust you and know you. People need to hop on a call with you, basically already knowing who you are, feeling like you're a friend to them, knowing everything about your process, and trusting you. Trust is the biggest thing. Trust is gonna be the converting asset in the next 3 years. Because this info product bubble, it's gonna pop. It's gonna pop within the next 3 to 5 years, because the trust is gonna be so low that no one's gonna buy, and people are gonna leave the whole like online space. And the only people that are gonna stay and stay alive in this space are people who can sell, has a super solid sales process, they are genuine, they are authentic, and the business owners who have a super solid fulfillment and offer and service delivery. Those are the guys that are going to stay alive within this whole info product space. So that's why the answer is both. You need to focus on marketing and sales as well. But if you already have at least 30, 40, 50, 60 calls per month, and you're not closing at least 30% of them, and at least 80% of, at least 80% of them don't show up to the call, then you need to focus on sales. Okay. If you have a 15% close rate and 50% of them show up to the call, doesn't make sense. Okay, you're wasting money, you're wasting time, and you're wasting effort on all the outreach, all the ads, all the creatives, everything. So there's your answer. Focus on marketing, focus on sales, but have your priorities straight. Okay, have your priorities, write it down, take some notes, and make some more money. See you in the next one.